All right, it is finally only 80 degrees in Boston, so I can film. And we're gonna film my TBR, and that thumbnail is actually like all my own owned books. Normally, a lot of my TBRs are mostly library or ebooks, and I own a lot of new releases, and new Releasathon is happening this month, and it's the Magical Readathon Part 2, and I have an ambitious TBR. I clocked the pages. It's about 5,500, which I think I can do. Last Magical Readathon in April, I hit one of my biggest months ever, and I'm just hoping to carry that energy into here, especially since I am so excited for so many of these books, to the point where it's so hard to finish the books that I'm reading in July because I just want to jump into these books now. It's a struggle because I actually do like the books I'm reading now, but these are all shiny new things, and I really want to get to them. So for the Magical Readathon, I'm going to be a demonologist, which worked the best for all the books I had, but also when I read the description, I was like, yes, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. So I'm going to go through the things I have for those prompts. I have a couple of books for quests that are happening because you can get guild points for the quests, which allow for like legitimate DNFs or switching prompts around, which seems useful for future rounds because sometimes these Magical Readathon prompts can be very specific, and I cannot always bring that to the table with my TBRs. And then I also have my new Releasathon bingo board, and I'm not blacking it out with hard mode, but I think I can fulfill every prompt for that as well, with a couple additional books, and it's really ambitious, but again, I'm excited for all these things. So I think as long as there's excitement, and this encourages me to get to all these things, that's fine, because it's not like I have a punishment if I don't get to all these books. So, starting with the Magical Readathon prompts, for Demonology, you need to do stuff for Elemental Studies, Spells, Conjuration, and Demonology. And I only need to get an O for Elemental Studies, which is like this easy prompt of read a book with a drink, or start it with a drink, which yeah, sure. And this is where I could fit this book. And I just bought this book the other day. I went to the bookstore to buy this book because I am excited, and I hope I have a great time. And that is Just Like Home by Sarah Gay Lee. I'm just very excited. And also this works, what did I have it for my bingo board? I think this is book by favorite author, book by a disabled author. So it fits a couple of the prompts of the bingo board. And I can't wait. And also, I don't normally like pink things. I don't know why. Maybe it was just like in my just not like other girls phase of my life or whatever. But I really like this cover. I'm really digging this cover, what it's bringing to the table. I really hope I like it, and it can go sit with the Echo Wife right here and have a great spot on my shelf. I don't know what it's about. I'm not reading the flap. I want to read this. It just came out. I'm pumped. Also, Bethany just gave this 5 stars, which has me extra pumped because we both really liked the Echo Wife. So, hoping. Next up, we have Spells. So this one I'll show here. I had to spin a color wheel and get a color. And luckily, I got Amber. And Amber, I think, is the color of Alloy of Law. And if you did not know, August is the first month of the Mistborn Era 2 read-along. And it's very short. I'm excited. I haven't read this since 2015. My first time reading it was 2011, so seems like a book that I'm way overdue for a reread. I'm excited. It's going to be a fun, entertaining time. I can't decide if I'll attempt the audiobook because it's Michael Kramer, and if you don't know, I have unpopular opinions about his narration style, but I'm excited to get to this because this was one of those obligation reads of the month. Can't wait. Information about the read-along will be down in the description below. Keep your eyes out because I think we've already moved the August date to be a Monday night, so just keep your eyes out. We're all adults. Schedules are hard. And then next up is picking something off someone else's TBR. And I chose this to be my first SFF magazine. So I got this from Kristen's TBR for the new Releasathon. And this is, I think, a Ieta. I don't know, it's in Portuguese. So sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, but it's a Brazilian SFF collection. And it's bilingual. It's written in Portuguese and English. I will not be able to read the Portuguese. I can barely read Spanish. But I'm excited for this. I actually just bought it because you can get it on Amazon. You can have access to it if you have Kindle Unlimited, which I do not. I never can rationalize Kindle Unlimited because I never read enough books in a month for the monthly cost is essentially how that works. And this is only like $4. I'm excited. It's going to be my first magazine. It works also for a bunch of prompts for the new Releasathon because this came out February of this year. It's translated. What else have I written down? It's a magazine, and I believe, non-US author, and it's Global South because Brazilian authors. I am excited. Next up, we have to do conjuration. We just have to do the first level, which is necromancy-based stuff. And I was told, and it's actually in the flap, that City of Dusk would count for this. So I get to read this very pretty copy that Evie sent me, and hope I like it, but also be scared if I like it, because I don't think these are being released as hardbacks in the United States. But Abby from Abby's Altar told me that they are released as hardbacks in the UK, and they're this size, so there is hope for me. That if I love this and I want to get the rest of the series in hardback, there is a way. I've heard mixed things about this when I was covering for my recent release roundup, but it could really work for me, and it could really work for like my multi-POV kind of lightweight summer fantasy. I don't know. I hope I like it. It has gods walking among men. It has some interesting power dynamics. Hopefully I love some of the characters. We shall see. And I think one of them is a necromancer. I think I even saw that on the front flap somewhere. Yeah, necromancer. Reija. There's a necromancer. And I don't remember what this covered for City of Dusk. I think it's a new to me author, because I haven't read her. So that's what I'm putting it as on the new Releasathon. Next up, we have, for Demonology, the first book just has to be a fantasy. And this happened to win the patron poll by 1 vote. It was very close. But this is a fantasy, and that's the first binding. This is a thick, thick boy. This is on my ARC. It is over 700 pages. And I wouldn't say it's small font, but I wouldn't say it's big font. But it's so floppy. I really hope I like it. It's definitely got some tropes that I really like someone telling their story of how they got to where they're being. Like, I like that narrative framework. I truly do. So it's definitely giving me Name of the Wind vibes, at least from that perspective, because I feel like that's the most famous version of that trope in fantasy, at least nowadays, most famous modern version, I'll say. So I'm hoping I really like it. We'll see. I don't know. But this is the one they voted for, and it's a fantasy, so it works. I don't know if I have this for my bingo board. I'm trying to look. Oh, it's the debut. I have it for debut for my bingo board. Then next up, I had to do a number generator thing. So I put all my physical TBR books in an Excel sheet, and I did a number thing, and I was so excited because it picked Brown Girl in the Ring by Nalo Hopkinson, which I've been wanting to read, and it's short, so that's a good pairing for this long book. I think this is kind of one of those city study sci-fi fantasy books. I'm unsure. But I'm excited, and I really like this cover. I think it takes place in Toronto. I'm unsure. But I think it's maybe slightly future dystopian, magical, realism, sci-fi. I mean, when Nalo Hopkinson's writing a book, I expect all the genres to be present and accounted for. I feel like this will be no different. And then the last prompt for this was actually perfect for Conjuration, which is a book that's potential for unhauling. And I actually am a high enough guild level that I'm allowed to do a legitimate DNF. And so I think this is the book that if I use a DNF for this readathon, it would be on this book. It has a potential to be unhauled, and that is We Have Always Been Here. I have had this book on my shelf for a while now. It was a cover buy, and also I read the inside flap, but I have not seen a review that was higher than 3 stars for this book that came out last year. So there's a chance that it won't work with me, and if I read 100 or so pages and it doesn't work, we're going to DNF it, we're going to unhaul it, we're going to move on, but it's perfect for this prompt. So I think those are all the main prompts that I need to fulfill to get my Demonology degree. And then there's a few quests. I don't remember the names of the quests. I just wrote down books that I have that work for quests. So one is a new release that will work for my LGBTQ rep book. I don't know if it'll work for hard mode, but it'll work for that. And that is A Strange and Stubborn Endurance. I have read a short story by this author. It was one of my favorite short stories in the collection I read it in. I don't remember what collection I read it in. It might have been Sunspot Jungle. I read a lot of stuff in Sunspot Jungle. But it also could be New Suns. But it was this story with bees. Actually, I'm remembering I buddy read this with Shannon, so it had to be Sunspot Jungle. But that short story left such an impression on me that I was like, whenever they write a novel, I need to read it. So I'm going to read it. And I think this might have some romance in it. I have no clue. It was truly just I am interested in how this author writes words together. I will read their novel. So here it is. I'm interested in it. I am intrigued. I hope it works. Another quest works well because it's also with a patron buddy read, and that is The Bone Orchard. I'm nervous about this because Jess Owens really doesn't like it. Elliot Brooks didn't really like it. But also, Bethany liked it. Judith liked it. So I have a bunch of friends who I normally line up with having very different opinions about this book. So we'll see how it works for me. I haven't even looked at the flap because, again, this is a book that I know it's confusing and convoluted, and that's fine. I like to go into those knowing as little as possible. Another quest is for Maria Maria. This is a short story collection that Evie from She Was Only Evie got me for us to buddy read. It's magical realism, I think, kind of haunting Mexican-inspired stories. I don't know what's going to be in it, but I love the cover. it works for the new Releasathon and for this quest. Really excited to try it out, and hopefully maybe it's a new author. I think this also might be a debut. I don't think there are other works out by this author. There might be other short stories floating around, but I think this is the first like collection this author has published. And then the last quest would be for Build Your House Around My Body. This is for like a historical fiction prompt, and I'm reading it for my local book club. This is actually Ryan's book. I own this in that Ryan lives here and he owns it. He got it because it sounded cool. I think it's like historical fiction, horror, creepy. It's like pulling from folklore from, I think, Vietnam. I think it's Vietnam. Yes. So Vietnamese folklore, kind of the creepier side of the folklore. I know there's 2 timelines. Is it present day and the 70s? 1986 and 2011. So historical fiction for 1986. Come at me for, all the comments of, oh my God, that makes me feel so old. We're all getting there. Time marches on. But 1986 is definitely historical fiction now. And I'm excited. Ooh, Paul Tremblay has a quote. So this is probably definitely got some creepy vibes. And I'm excited for it. I hope I like it. And I really like this cover. Like, I really like it. It kind of reminds me of a snake, but also it's like a really nice braided hair. So that's all the magical readathon. And then I think at this point, this is what my bingo board looks like. And so to fill out another spot on the bingo board, I need to read The Jade Setter of John Loon, which will be my novella pick. And it will be for my sequel for the Greenbone Saga. Because even though it's a prequel, I'm counting it as a sequel because it's in the same world. And I've had this on my Kindle for a while, and I should read it because I love the Greenbone Saga. And I have a review for the first 2 books, which I haven't made an updated should you read because I feel like what I say there stands. Just add the addendum of, and the series stuck the landing. It's awesome. But if I read this standalone prequel-ish thing in that world, then I can maybe make an updated version of, like, should you read the Greenbone Saga, and how important is this novella? Where should you read it? That sort of thing. So I think those are all the things that I have to read for the readathon. And then I have, more plans. So I've been reading the Hugo nominated works. I already have a video for the novellas that I read last month if you want to check out my thoughts on all of those. And I've read 4 of the 6 novels already, 3 just because I read them last year and 1 I read last month. And so I have 2 more to read, so I would really like to read the newest Becky Chambers novel. It's something Galaxy in the Ground Within. This one. And I also want to read Light from Uncommon Stars. So those 2 I would like to get to because I would like to have my own opinions before the award is announced in September. We'll see if that happens. And also, there's this book that was nominated for the Nebula that I was really interested in. That's Plague Birds. That was not nominated for the Hugo. So if I can somehow balance that in, that would be great. And then I bought this book, and it seems like the perfect summer fantasy, which is The Stardust Thief. And I just saw it at the store, and I really like these new covers, like these jackets that people get. And I feel like every time I touch one, I'm like, yes, I want to buy this book, please. But also I read the first couple pages. I'm like, I think I'm going to vibe with this writing style. I really like the 1001 Nights, so using any of that as inspiration, I'm not expecting like a retelling, but like using that as inspiration. I know there's a platonic friendship, and I like eat that up. So I'm hoping I really like it. And I just think this is a really nice production, and I want to encourage Orbit to keep publishing hardback books. Maybe one day they'll retroactively give me Broken Earth in hardback. I don't even need special editions of Broken Earth. I just want them in hardback. So I think those are all the books. So I think with all of that, that's for sure almost 6,000 pages. It's a lot of pages. But I have hopes. I would like to do all this. Like, I'm excited for all of these books. I don't think there's one that I'm not excited for. I'm a little more nervous for City of Dusk. That's the one I'm most nervous about. Maybe Bone Orchard as well. But otherwise, it's just such a good stack. It's an amazing stack. I'm pretty happy about it. Let me know what readathons are you taking part in. Are you joining us for the read along for Mistborn Era 2? All of that will be in my Discord as well. I have a readathon chat that's just kind of this standing chat where, like, as readathons come and go, people are like show their TBRs, talk about their progress. It's just like a chill, tiny community in case you're ever overwhelmed by the larger Discords, which I know I get overwhelmed by Discords all the time. The only one I'm truly active in is my own, and that's because I made it, so it kind of feels like I should be. And of course, August 1st, I'm going to open up the Mistborn Era 2 chat so we can all discuss that and everything like that. I'm so excited to be back in the Mistborn world. I cannot wait. And if you just want to leave an emoji, leave me a... Oh, do they have like palm trees? I want a palm tree because for Maria, I'm feeling palm leaves here. I don't know if that's actually what they are. I don't know plants, but a palm tree. And it's also summer. So I feel like that works. And like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.